and they're now being smeared as racists, like this gentleman here. And I think that's intolerable.
No, I did not.
He clearly knows nothing about Charlie Hebdo.
I just gave you an example.
Nothing about France. Nothing about French traditions of free speech.
Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So we are going to be checking out Douglas Murray. Okay, in this video, it was said that Douglas Murray shut up Muslim scholar and leaves him speechless. I would really want to see what really happens. Okay, please subscribe to the channel, like the video for more, and let's go and look at this together. Okay.
People were killed, and they're now being smeared as racists, like this gentleman here. And I think that's intolerable.
No, I did not.
He clearly knows nothing about Charlie Hebdo.
I just gave you an example.
Nothing about France. Nothing about French traditions of free speech.
January 7th, 2015 is a day we will not forget in a hurry. Why? On that unfortunate day, the Paris offices of the newspaper Charlie Hebdo were attacked by two Muslim extremists. 12 people were killed, and many others were injured. The attack was in response to Charlie Hebdo's publishing of cartoons depicting Prophet Muhammad. So, you are about to watch a debate where, in the wake of the attack, Douglas Murray gives a piece of his mind to a Muslim scholar.
Well, first of all, we have to remember what's going on here. This is an attempt, a very clear, very bloody attempt, to impose Islamic blasphemy law in France and across Europe. And it has to be stopped. That's why these men did it. That's why the journalists of Charlie Hebdo are dead. An attempt to impose Islamic blasphemy law in Paris.
We'll get back to the video shortly, but let me quickly say this. In France, religion is perceived as an opinion and has no special treatment whatsoever. This means that I'm allowed to mock and criticize other people's religions and opinions, as they are allowed to mock mine. That's fair enough, isn't it?
You know, after the Danish cartoons affair, Charlie Hebdo was the only paper in the world, really, that continued to say it is our right as secular French citizens to draw, lampoon, laugh at, write about whatever we want. We're free people in a free society. They were the only ones who held on to that.
Now, here's another example of how far Muslims would go to silence free speech in the West. The Danish cartoons affair that Douglas just mentioned happened in September 2005. The Danish newspaper, Jyllands-Posten, published 12 cartoons, and they included one of Prophet Muhammad as a crazed, knife-wielding Bedouin, and another of him at the gates of heaven, telling suicide bombers, "Stop, stop, we have run out of virgins." As you would expect, these were deemed blasphemous by hardline Muslims around the world, and drew death threats. In fact, many years later, after one of the cartoonists had already been forced to spend a harrowing few months on the run with his wife, a 28-year-old man of Somali origin forced his way into their home, wielding an axe and a knife, shouting, "We will get our revenge." Fortunately, the police arrived just in time to save the day. Surely, something has to be done to give our press room to express themselves freely.
We have to spread the risk around. The free press in the free world has to spread the risk around. Our freedoms hang on this. It cannot be left to a single individual or a single publication, a single satirical magazine, to hold the line for all of our freedoms.
I couldn't agree more with Douglas's brilliant suggestion. But let's now hear from his opponent, Raza Nadeem.
Raza Nadeem, I come to you because you are scowling.
Yeah, because I disagree with everything he said so far, because...
Everything?
Yeah, most of what he said, because I stopped listening after a while, because it just didn't make sense. When he talks about we should, the news, Charlie Hebdo published whatever they wanted, that's rubbish.
I beg your pardon? Maybe someone should have taught this young man that, unlike whichever Islamic country he hails from, there's actually something we call freedom of speech and freedom of the press in the West.
They were overtly racist towards Muslims. They were always lampooning Arabs and being overtly racist in most of their publications, and it smacks of hypocrisy because they were prepared, in the name of freedom of speech, to sack a journalist who wrote a column that they considered to be anti-Semitic.
Hold on a second. Did he just compare 12 people getting killed by terrorists with someone losing their job?
It's really rich. There are 12 people dead.
Oh, please, no, don't try to use their deaths.
No.
Just don't. Please, don't try, because I just give you an example where they did. No, let me finish my point. The clear example where they don't care for freedom of speech.
Okay, on that example, Douglas will address that example.
Now, pay attention as Douglas takes him to the cleaners.
Another question.
A dozen people were killed, and they're now being smeared as racists, like this gentleman here. And I think that's intolerable.
No, I did not.
He clearly knows nothing about Charlie Hebdo.
I just gave you an
nothing
example.
about France, nothing about French traditions of free speech. Charlie Hebdo is a left-wing, anti-racist publication.
Douglas is absolutely spot on. It's also important to point out that Charlie Hebdo is not against any particular religion.
Most of the attacks on Charlie Hebdo, the non-physical attacks, have been from the Catholic Church, repeated attempts to criminalize Charlie Hebdo for what it says about the Pope. Marine Le Pen, the far right-wing leader, is one of the main targets of their satire. You don't understand anything.
I just gave you an example.
Let me ask you a question.
Again, let's hear Raza Nadim's take.
And whoever we want. It's rubbish. Muslims are being asked to believe in freedom of speech more than others are, because in France they're prepared to prosecute an individual on that basis. They've banned comedians that they consider to be anti-Semitic. Now I'm saying it's right, if someone's being anti-Semitic, stop them. But why, when we're saying someone is being Islamophobic and anti-Muslim, we're saying we're taking the chin? Why are we treated differently?
Let's be honest, really. It's very sloppy for Raza to compare race and religion. Religion is not something inherent like race. I mean, to state the very obvious, you can change your religion at any time, but the same cannot be said about your race. Back to Douglas.
Can I just quickly, there are some people speaking about who have clearly sort of mugged up on Charlie Hebdo in the last couple of days and drawn from this tragedy whatever they like, but you really should know more if you're going to speak about this.
And I have shown more about you about this
You are
topic.
going to need to know more
before you smear I'm not smearing. I'm not smearing all dead people.
One thing you may not be aware of.
Now, Douglas gives him a proper schooling.
That France has historical reasons to be incredibly sensitive of anti-Semitism in particular, because within people's living memory, tens of thousands of Jews were put on trains and slaughtered. No, let me explain.
Well, we shouldn't be sensitive of it. There's a secret website called Google.
Let me finish the point I'm making.
Everyone, pay attention to this.
Let me get back to the main point where you've been trying to divert us from. That's this. What is going on with this is an attempt not to make Islam be treated differently, not making Charlie Hebdo. It wasn't to treat Islam differently or Muhammad. It was to treat Islam exactly the same way that secular free people have the right to talk about every religion.
Douglas, again, doesn't hold back.
Through the front door. Some people through the front door with Kalashnikovs and others through the back door with this kind of weasel talk. What they do is try to make one religion free from being able to be criticised, and it must be stopped.
Well, people that are so sensitive.
Many of us would absolutely agree with Douglas Murray here. What happened to Charlie Hebdo, though the most appalling incident of its kind yet, is in many ways far from unprecedented. It is, rather, a chapter in a long, concerted campaign to shut down criticism and discussion of one religion, its founder, and its teachings. The aim of the campaign, as Douglas himself said, is to place Islam above the level of all other religions or ideas and make it immune from criticism. And the tactic is working. This campaign has been gathering pace for at least 25 years. It really started in the West in 1989, after the publication of Salman Rushdie's novel, The Satanic Verses, which contained passages considered deeply offensive by some Muslims. The novel resulted in Ayatollah Khomeini of Iran issuing a fatwa, a religious judgment, in this case, a death sentence, on Rushdie that forced the author into hiding. Though Rushdie survived, the fatwa was followed by the murder of a translator of his works and knife attacks on 2 others. Despicable, isn't it? No society can be considered truly free if its members are terrorized into silence and hiding by fatwas and mortal threats. So, we can say that the tragic killing in Paris is not really a story about one magazine or one country, and it is not just about freedom of the press. Instead, it is about the right of every single one of us to be free to express ourselves. And it is high time the nations of Europe woke up to how gravely that right is under threat.
So guys, this is actually a very heated argument, and wow, I'm speechless actually as well too. I'm also speechless. I don't really know what to say because this is so deep. But let me leave you guys with your own thoughts. Let me leave you guys with your own opinion on the comment section. Please, let's be opinionated and very respectful, okay? On the comment section. Thank you so much. I will see you on our next one. Bye.